We've done this experiment with 100 or more development nations. We've done this experiment with 50 or more development nations. And today we delete every nation with 25 or more development. Any nation that does remain will receive the Colonize Please buff, and using it they will be able to very quickly fill the void that has been left by the nations that were Thanos snapped out of existence. These videos tend to be quite popular with you guys, and I can understand why. I enjoy making them. So what I'm going to do is set a like goal of 4,000 likes, and we will do 10 development nations next. So don't forget to like the video and make sure that you subscribe to the channel and ding the bell so you don't miss out on future dope videos. We have a few people colonizing the coasts over here in Russia and the Baltic area, as well as up in Pomerania, which has formed. Lubeck colonizing Denmark, gonna make them quite a bit of money. And who else to get over into England first except for the Dutch? The Dutch invasion of England is inevitable, but they're not alone over here. The Isles have taken over the majority of the development in Scotland. They look like they may be setting themselves up for success in the long term. You know me, boys. I love to see me a big Albania. And Theodoro is growing, looking pretty good. Might be going for that Gothic invasion. And yep, within 3 years of unpausing the game, Scotland forever! And when I think of nations that are most likely to form Poland, I wouldn't have thought it would be one of the Silesian miners, but they formed Silesia and then formed Poland like a couple of months later, which is pretty funny. Taking a look around, there's a bunch of little blobs that are coming out, kind of these regional, like 2 or 3 blobs per region on the map. So that's pretty cool. We're seeing some guys set up over here in France before one of them inevitably just, you know, forms France like they always do. And then over here in Iberia as well, we've got some Italians, some Basque, and then some Berbers making their way into Iberia. Meanwhile, Wales is all Irish, which honestly sounds worse than our own timeline. And not only are the Dutch and the Frisians going to fight over who is the superior culture of the Netherlands, they are also going to fight over who is the superior culture of the British Isles, or at least England. One of the things that I really enjoy about situations like this is little tiny tags like Yas over here, who's I think one province in 1444, actually have a chance to come out on top. And it really is like so much more even than in the 1444 start date in vanilla. And a big shout out to Prome over here, P-Rome, setting up shop over in Burma, looking pretty good so far. Of course, all of the world, at least over in Greece, belongs to Albania, but because Albania is such a nice country, they may give the land to other country eventually, but for now it is all Albania. And except for a few different tags, it looks like Russia is slowly filling in. You got Pskov, Riga, Odoyev, Yaroslavl. So a couple of nations are growing, but not a whole lot. There's still quite a bit to go. But it's going to be important because when you consider all of the land over here in Siberia, and especially the land over in China, whoever can set up shop over in this region is going to, they're going to have a good time. And about 30 years in, we have a gray Russia just over this, whatever, orangish red, lower Russia, I guess. And the borders over in Europe are filling in, and it definitely seems to be a few regional powers sticking out. Theodoro looking very good over there, and Navarra over in Iberia, but Utrecht's power base in the British Isles is definitely going to carry them, I think. South Africa looking pretty good, united by Sofala, and the West African coasts controlled mostly by the Congo, Benin, and a couple of boys from Dahomies. We also have our first colony in the New World for Navarra. Very cool. If they can get a semi-serious colonial empire off the ground, they will carry the game. But the really interesting number here is over 1,000 for Lanzang, 30 years in and almost 1,100 development, which is crazy. We then have a united Japan, though they don't actually have all of the provinces, but they are united with a little over 800. And then way down there is that orangish red country that I pointed out in southern Russia, Sistan, 500. Even though Lubeck is huge, they're pretty low in development, and Lucca's doing okay in the 5th spot. Mongkwang, Poland, and Utrecht rounding out the top 8, 30 years in, and this is just the beginning. A lot of the development from Japan is coming from the main islands, but also from Korea and Manchuria. And as you probably could have assumed, Lanzang has taken a lot of the land over here in China, and that is why they are such a big, beefy boy. Navarra is the colonizer. Singular. The colonizer, the one colonizer in the New World, because everyone else in the Old World is just fighting each other. Byzantium has somehow popped out over here. They don't have Constantinople. That is owned by a Turkish beylik who is currently getting their teeth kicked in by none other than Albania, because the descendants of Skanderbro do not mess around. Not only is Kosovo Albania, but apparently Bosnia is as well. This is not a political statement. This is just the truth. But we're closing in on 100 years in, and the borders in Europe are as messy as they ever have been. Same with India, still totally a mess, but China is very much united under a couple of different tags that are controlling the majority of the development, and I imagine that they're probably going to expand eventually. Meanwhile, I always forget about these guys, but we have a couple of the Spice Island people, as well as people from Indonesia that have colonized down under. No surprise, Navarra jumps out in front because of all of that colonization that they had going on. But a new challenger has entered the arena in Lubeck with over 1,000 development, competing directly with Japan and a newly formed Morocco for the second spot with over 1,000 development each. Because as it turns out, Navarra has some competition abroad, namely Lubeck and Morocco. But over on the west coast here, we have Bali, a Javanese nation in California. And honestly, it's a little bit of healthy competition across the entire New World. So Morocco with quite a bit of land here and there. Damn. And speaking of a lot of land, you can see Albania has Constantinople or whatever, as well as a large portion of Anatolia. So whether they do well in the end or not, I will rest easy knowing that Albania has risen. Meanwhile, Utrecht continues to unite the Isles with a couple of provinces here or there not belonging to them, but they are the dominant power in the region. Meanwhile, Yaroslavl continues to unite Russia as well as Siberia, looking very good. Over in the west, it is still very yellow, but over in the central portions of Europe, you can see a big blue Austria-Hungary looking thing over here. And Bosnia has migrated into like Wallachia, Romania area. So I love to see that. Russia has indeed formed, so you got to keep an eye on them. Oh, and I almost missed Italy had formed, as well as Franconia. So we've got a couple of really good formables. Also, Riga working their way down the coast here with Hamburg and Lubeck, Mecklenburg in the area. So definitely some interesting stuff going on over here. Brandenburg is literally just Sternberg. They don't even have Berlin anymore. So they're definitely done with this one. Also, look at the freaking hat on Mecklenburg's dude. That is a really cool hat. I don't know about you guys. I would wear that hat. So I assume there was some personal union shenanigans going on here, because we have the most purple Russia I have ever seen. And it has the coolest name that you could have for Russia, in my opinion. And meanwhile, Navarra, Italy, and Utrecht continue to dominate the region over here in Western Europe. Very nice borders for Navarra. They annexed basically all of what was like Foix or whatever before. And it's been asked in the comments before, but I'm curious what you guys think in the comments below this video. Do you want to see some random New World stuff? I was actually watching through some of Drew Durnall's old stuff, looking for a little bit of inspiration for the channel. And I saw he had a New World one, and it looked really fun. And I would definitely be interested in doing it if I know that you guys want to see it. So let me know. And Theodoro did not disappoint, nor did Japan or Siam, or apparently Nepal, who conquered all of India, and they actually just lost a little bit of land over here recently. So that's pretty good to see. Italy had decided to conquer all of northern Africa as well as large portions of Arabia before getting absolutely dumpstered between Bavaria and France. France, whose name is actually over here in West Africa. So that's the thing. Because France is inevitable, as they always form in every single run, especially these ones with colonize please. And now they control the majority of the development in the entirety of the New World, except for some land that has been taken by the United States, who is North Saxon, I think it is. They're German United States. Revolutionary Lubeck, with their capital over here in Eriksfjord, exists. I like to see that. I always appreciate it when somebody's capital is in Greenland. And the revolution is absolutely prolific this time around, with the Netherlands also going revolutionary with the bulk of their development in northern Germany and the British Isles. But you can't count out the Scandinavian parts. It's a lot of forest and stuff, you know. Italy had invaded the Balkans, and Albania have submitted to the Italians, at least in Albania. And then they migrated all the way over into Anatolia. And now we have Albania taking up Albania. I'm not actually sure if the historic Albania that was over here is related to this Albania. It may be, but yeah, look it up. Interesting fact of history. Sofala down here in southern Africa worked their way up into Central Africa and the Horn of Africa, as well as southern Arabia. So very respectable finish. Good enough to get them into the top 8 in the number 7 spot, but not even kind of close to France. Revolutionary Theodoro with over 6,000 development. Revolutionary Netherlands with over 4,000. Bavaria just behind them with 3,600. Nepal all finishing with a very respectable 3,100. Japan 26, Sofala 26, and then Italy with 2,200. Somehow we have a military hegemon of Theodoro. They had to have gotten a personal union on Russia and integrated them. I don't know how they could even go about that. I feel like Russia would have to be disloyal, but they managed it, and I'm here for it, man. Culturally, North America is very much Lower Saxon as well as Moroccan, Mexican, Basque. That's the big one, the Basque cultures. And then Javanese over here on the left coast. South America, a bit more of the same Moroccan, Platinian, and Basque making up the majority of the development. And Javanese boys down under. The Reformation got absolutely clapped. It doesn't even exist. I don't think there's any Catholic nations outside of the New World, the Protestant United States, and that is it. It's all Catholic, Orthodox, Buddhist, Shinto, or Hindu, or Sunni. That is essentially the only religions that I'm seeing around the world. Can't say that I expected Theodore to do that well, but I think a little bit of RNG went a very long way for them. But you know, they say don't hate the player, hate the game. So I hate this game. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe and ding the bell so you get notified for future uploads. Special thanks to ALS Gamer, Legrand Puba, Chio, Josh Kopczynski, Agent Rhino, Blonde Damon, Cannon Fodder, and many more. If you want to see your name here and early access to these videos, check out the join button below the video or the Patreon linked in the description.